Welcome back, children. This is Information Technology for class 11 and the subject code is 802. This is your textbook IT Tools. Let us have a quick recap on what you have learned in previous class. You have learned the fundamental concepts of a computer system. You have learned what is a hardware, what is a software, and what is a database, and the characteristics of computers, namely speed, accuracy, memory, diligence, storage, intelligence, so on and so forth. And you also learned the block diagram of a computer, how the input is made, how it is coming to the memory unit, and next what is happening in the central processing unit, and finally how the information is passed on to the output unit. And you have also studied what is the primary storage, that is RAM, ROM, and what is your secondary memory, what do you mean by arithmetic and logical unit, what is your control unit, and what are the components that are inside the computer. If you could remember, I have given you the motherboard, the hard disk, the expansion slots, the power supply, so on and so forth. And this is what you have learned in the previous class. And in today's class, I will cover point number 5, that is components of a computer. Point number 6, that is operating system. Point number 7, functions of an operating system. And finally, you will learn the types of operating system. We'll quickly move on to the lesson. Now look at this basic components of computer. Take a look at this. Now the basic components of computer is divided into hardware and software. The hardware is subdivided into 3. What are they? Input device, output device, and peripheral device. The software is subdivided into 3. What are they? System software, application software, and utilities. You will learn each and every device in the next slides. Now, hardware. In the previous lesson, you understood what is a hardware. That is something which you can touch and feel. The definition of hardware goes like this. Hardware refers to the physical parts of a computer that you can touch and feel. Example, keyboard, mouse, printer, hard disk, etc. And it is given very clearly. So hardware is something where you can touch and feel. Examples are given. Kindly take a look at this slide. We'll move on to the next slide now. Input devices. Input is the data which is given to the computer by the user, that is you, and the devices which are used to feed input is called input devices. You divide that word into 2. Input is one which you give, and what is the device? Which recognizes is called the device. Example, keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick. Joystick is used to play the games. Microphone, light pen. Light pen is, instead of using the mouse, if you want to draw images, pictures using a pen kind of a thing, you will use that light pen. BCR. BCR stands for barcode reader. If you go to a shopping mall, You buy some grocery, there they will use that barcode reader to pick the price of that particular product. And what is MICR? MICR full form is magnetic ink character recognition, and it is used in bank to do the check clearance process. The check will have the magnetic ink, and this device will recognize it, and smoothly the check will get cleared. Web camera, you already know what is web camera, etc. These are the examples of input devices. Output devices. Output is the processed form of data, and the devices which are used to display the output is known as output devices. Example: monitor, projectors, headphones, speaker, printer. These are some of the examples of output devices. The classical example is your monitor. Peripheral devices. All the other devices which may act as both input and output, or just adds an extra functionality to the computer, may be termed as peripheral devices. Example: modem. Modem, as you know, it is used to get the internet connection. It is modulator and demodulator. Internet adapters, switches. Switches, you may see it in internet center, where you will have a lot of Ethernet cables, many green color lights will be glowing onto it, mentioning the connectivity of all the system. That is called as switch. Hub is similar to that. Router is used to connect multiple networks. And TV tuner card. TV tuner card is used to capture the video and record television programs. That is another peripheral device. Network card is very, very important. Without network card, it is called as NIC. That network card is very important to get the internet connection, and graphics card is used to view moving pictures, images, so on and so forth. So these are examples of peripheral devices. What is a software? Command is a single instruction given to the computer. That is only one command. Open is one command. But what is a program? A program is a set of instruction given to the computer. For example, addition of two numbers. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 4. Sum is equal to A plus B. Then finally, you will give the printout. And what is a software? A software is a set of related programs. It is the software due to which computer works. It can be the system software. System software is nothing but the operating system that you work on. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Unix. All these things are some of the examples of system software where you really work on. Here, software is divided into three: system software, application software, and utilities. System software, as I already told you, it is the operating system. Application software is the apps or the programs like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so on and so forth. You have many application softwares that are available. And what are utility programs? These programs help in eradicating the virus, like virus, antivirus software, these softwares which will help you to eradicate the virus. Additional programs that are used, called utility software. Let us see the system software. The software that controls the overall computer operations is called the system software. Example: MS-DOS, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, etc. Application software is a software which is designed to perform some specific task. It can be classified into two categories: general purpose application software and specific purpose application software. This general purpose application software is the Word document where you can use generally. Similarly, Excel, you can use it as a general purpose. But what is a specific purpose application software? There are some software, application software, which is used to do only accounts. For example, Tally software. So Tally software is an example for specific purpose application software, which will be only doing the accounts part. Utility software. Utility software is a program designed for the maintenance of the computer system and to ensure its smooth functioning. Example, Windows Explorer, file folder management, Windows Media Player, antivirus utilities, very important, disk defragmentation, disk clean, backup, WinZip, WinRAR, backup utilities are some of the examples of utility software. Very important utility software is the antivirus utilities. Okay, what is a motherboard? As you can see, the motherboard picture is clearly given to you. All the components are connected to the motherboard. A motherboard, sometimes alternatively known as the main board, system board, or MOBO, is the main printed circuit board. PCB stands for printed circuit board, found in computers and other expandable systems. It holds many of the crucial electronic components of the system, such as the central processing unit CPU and memory, and provides connectors for other peripherals. So this motherboard is very important. Without a motherboard, the computer cannot work, because all the main components, electronic components, are connected to this board only. I'll maximize it so that you can see how a motherboard look like. Okay, we will move on to the next slide. Central processing unit. It acts as the brain of the computer, performs all the calculations and controls all the components, carries out the instruction of a computer program, performs the basic arithmetic, logical, and input-output operation of the system. This you have already studied in the previous class, that block diagram of the system. I have clearly given you the example how the input comes in 2 plus 2, how it is getting stored in the memory, and the control unit activates the arithmetic and logical unit. If plus is involved, addition is performed and immediately the result is sent to the output. All these things have been dealt clearly in the previous class. Components of a computer. Main thing is the power supply unit. As you can see on the right hand side, the power supply is clearly given. A fan is given because fan is needed because the electronic material that are kept inside, due to excess heat generation, the fan is very important to make it a coolant. An on off switch is clearly given to you, and the 3-pin plug, that is AC receptacle. Okay, the 3 plug is very important. Through that power goes in. And hard disk, 2 pictures are given. One is the inbuilt hard disk, which comes when you buy a desktop, that is on the left hand side. A man is holding that here, and you have another hard disk which is on the right hand side. It is given. You can actually use it as an external hard disk. It need not be inside. You can carry it wherever you want. So if you want some projects, or you have some other important study material with you, you want to carry it to somewhere and you want to show it on the projector, you can do that using the second option. Okay, that is the external hard disk. Hard disk, as it is clearly given to you, and how the binary digits, everything in computer is stored in terms of bits. Bits stands for binary digits. Now that bit BI is taken from the first 2 letter of binary digit. This bit BI, first 2 letters and last 2 letters in digits is collectively called as bits. Bits is either in the form of 0 or 1. 1 nipple is equal to 4 bits. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1024 bytes. 1024 bytes is nothing but 2 to the power of 10. I have clearly given you here 2 upon 10 is 1024. So 1024 bytes is equal to 1 KB. 1024 KB is equal to 1 MB. 1024 MB is equal to 1 GB. And 1024 GB is equal to 1 TB. Main memory. Main memory, classical example is RAM, random access memory. It is volatile in nature. That is, if power goes off, all the storage will get lost. Every file or application opened is placed in RAM. Uses random access techniques, that is, the data can be directly jumped to the middle if necessary without having to read the data sequentially. That is, it need not go as 1, 2, 3, it can jump from 1 to 3. That is called as random access memory. It is volatile in nature, meaning it is temporary memory. Operating system, as you can clearly see on the right hand side, Linux, Unix, MS-DOS, Windows, Mac, Solaris, these are some of the classical example of types of operating system, and I have given you clearly how the Windows in different years, how the transformation has happened starting from 1985 till date. Okay, you can take a look at all these things. So basically an operating system is a computer need to communicate with both hardware and software. To do this, it utilizes the services of an operating system. So the logo of different operating systems have been given. It is for your kind perusal. Kindly go through it for a minute. Okay. Functions of an operating system. The prime function of an operating system can be broadly categorized as providing for communication between the user and the computer. It is nothing but a bridge between the user and the computer. Resource management, process management, file management, and memory management. You will study each topic in different slides. Now, communication management. What is communication management? Downloading, uploading. One computer to other computer, in one computer to other computer in LAN or WAN. See, communication management, something to deal with uploading and downloading and transferring the files from one computer to an other. Now, resource management. What is resource management? Installing drivers required for input, communication output, memory, power, communication devices. For example, you have a printer. So every printer will have a device driver. If that device driver is not working, or if it is hanged or something like that, you have to go check the device driver of the printer. So that comes under resource management. So printer is a resource. How do you manage printer will come under the resource management. Now next one is process management. All process from starting the computer, that is logging the computer, to shutting down the computer, all these things will come under process management, like opening a file, saving a file, installing a particular application, copying a file, printing a file. All these things are part of process management. CPU can perform one task at one time. If there are many tasks, operating system decides which task should get the central processing unit. That is, CPU will do multitasking. Many jobs are done at a particular time. For example, you will open a file, you may print some file, you may share some file. So all these things are jobs. It will decide depending upon the size which task should perform first, which task should perform later, based on size and based on the priority also. Okay, memory management. It is also an important function of operating system. The memory cannot be managed without operating system. If there is no operating system, the programs may mix with each other. The system will not work properly. Primary memory, as you all know, it is RAM and ROM. Secondary memory, as you all know, it is hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drive, etc. This has been covered in the previous class itself. So memory, as you know, the block diagram of the computer, it is very essential function of an operating system, because without that memory, no input can come in and no output can go out. So memory management is very important. Now, file management. What is file management? Creation of a file is a file management. When you create a file, by default it will be given as new folder. You can name it, you can rename it, you can create a file, you can create a folder, you may change the location of the file, moving, copying, all these things will come under file management. Attributes, what is the size, what is the type, when it is modified, whether it has any protection, like whether you are doing any password access, whether you have given it, so that you only can do that. So all these things will come under file management, starting from creation of the file, opening the file, saving the file, taking multiple copies of the master file, locating in a particular drive, moving the file from one place to another. All these things will come under file management. Okay, types of operating system. There are two types of operating system. One is a single tasking operating system. The other one is multitasking operating system. As you all know, what is a task? Task is nothing but a job. So single tasking will refer to only one job at a time. Single tasking, such operating system allow execution of only a single program at a given instance. Given instance means at a particular time only one program can be executed, which is called as the single tasking. But what is multitasking? As the name suggests, multi means many. So I have clearly given you a picture on the right hand side. P1, P2, P3, P4 are nothing but programs. So as of now, you can clearly see here P1, P4, P3 and P2. All these things are programs, and CPU is below. Now at present, at that point of time, that pie diagram is clearly given. At that point of time, CPU is taking the program P2 and it gets executed, and soon after it gets executed, it picks the other program. So multitasking can happen. P2 is scheduled to execute on the CPU. To make it more clear, see, one process is browser. You may open, as soon as you see your desktop after booting your system, you open the browser, you search for some educational videos or something like that on the browser. Simultaneously you can open the Excel and you can work on the Excel. You can open Paint simultaneously. You can open a media player and listen to some music. So all these things can be done at one point of time, which is called as multitasking. Many tasks can be performed in an operating system with a specific time frame is called as the multitasking operating system. Single user and multi-user operating system. Single user operating system allows only one user to use the system. The desktop systems can be classified as typical single user system. A classical example would be MS-DOS. In MS-DOS only one user can work at a time, and you cannot have any network because in that operating system only one person can work onto it. But what is multi-user operating system? The multi-user operating system will allow many users to access the system by maintaining an account of all the registered users. Windows is a classical example of multi-user operating system where network can be given, so all of them can use internet at the same time. But in MS-DOS, that internet part cannot be done because it is a single user operating system. And what is a real-time operating system and what is a batch operating system? The real-time operating system or RTOS delivers results immediately, that is instantaneously it will deliver the result. A common example of a RTOS, that is real-time operating system, is the computer found on an aircraft. This is due to the critical moments when every command from the pilot must show a result immediately. Or you may also take an example of anti-aircraft missile system, which should fire as soon as it receives the signal from the enemy aircraft. In that case, when the operating system have to respond quickly, you will go for the real-time operating system. Hope it is very clearly given to you. And finally, batch processing system. As you can clearly see, a picture is given to you, a dice is given. So batch processing will process as batch one at a time. As you can see, those dice are rolled out. So after one falls, that is one job is done, it is going to the next one, and after that process is done, it will move on to the final one. In a batch processing system, similar jobs are clubbed together and submitted as a block to the processor for execution. User intervention is minimal in such systems. The jobs are picked up one by one and executed. So how it is picked up on the right hand side picture? It is picked up one at a time and finally it goes to the last one as a batch. Now we have come to the end of this session. Hope you have learnt this lesson. Let us enjoy learning. Thank you. I will meet you in next class.